In this lesson, we'll be working on page layout. We'll put in a border and a title block. First thing we'll need is a piece of paper. We're using 8.5 by 11 here. Next, we're going to draw a 1/2 inch border around the perimeter. The first thing I'll do is I'll take a T-square and I'll line up the piece of paper so it's nice and straight on the drawing surface. Then I'll secure the corners with some painter's tape. Now I'll take my scale ruler and on each side of the page I'll mark a 1/2 inch. I'll take the T-square and the triangle and I'll lightly draw in my border all the way around the page. I'll then darken the lines by verifying them. A border is done to improve the appearance of the drawing. They should stop immediately when they meet the 4 corners. Now we're going to add a title block in the bottom right-hand corner. There's really no right or wrong way to do a title block. They can vary from school to school or project to project. Here I'm just using 3/8 inch scale. I measured 5 feet up and 10 feet across to make a rectangle. Now I'll take the T-square and I'll divide this into 5 equal sections. I'll take my triangle and divide this section into 2. The purpose of a title block is to provide information about the drawing or the project you're working on. For this class, we'll put the School of Dramatic Art, the name of the class, Drawing for the Theater, the name of the assignment, indicate what scale you've drawn it in, the date, and your name. Let's move on to lettering. Before any drawing is complete, it's necessary to add notes, measurements, and texts. This process of adding written information to a drawing is called lettering. To ensure your letters stay consistent and in a straight line, we use guidelines. In this example, I'm using the 1/4 inch scale and I'm marking references for guidelines. I'll use my T-square and I'll draw horizontal lines across. Lettering is done using block capital letters so that it's clear and easy to read. With practice, you'll start to develop your own style, but be consistent. You can see here that I'm using the triangle to create all my vertical lines so that they're nice and neat. Treat each letter like it's its own drawing. Keep everything neat, clean, and presentational. Also be sure to use guidelines when you're doing dimensions. Sometimes it's necessary to add arrows to point to areas in the drawing. These are called leader lines. These lines are typically curved. so as not to confuse them with object lines or dimension lines. Just going back to the title block, I've added guidelines, and now I'm lettering the information needed. Before you begin this week's assignment, take some time to practice your guidelines and lettering.